never going to work. Why? Because Trump doesn't understand history.
This called. This is.
Hey, hi, good to see you. It's wait, I never know how to pronounce his name. It's just Hua Haume? Haume? Sorry, my friend. Not so sure about it. Yeah, but thank you so much. Like I do enjoy my holiday a lot. A lot of amazing rest, good rest. I feel like after a while, when you really like focus a lot on working, like working extremely hard, and all of a sudden you can have several days off. Like just take it slowly, just go with the flow, depending on what mood you have today, and just try to be like really relaxing at the same time, just doing whatever you find is like interesting and still work, but it's not like so hardworking kind of work. It's just like relaxing kind of work. That is pretty amazing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. How are everyone? How are everyone? Okay. Mhm. All right. All right. Uh-uh. Set up taller. Okay. Now it's better. Yeah. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hi, my friend. Yeah. So to be honest, this is not the usual time that I will start my live stream. So like I guess I'll be able to see many new faces today, which is terrific. Which is terrific. Hello, hi, good morning. Yes, this is morning time, my friend. Now is around 9:15, 9:15. So usually I would have my live stream from like 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time. However, like this is holiday, and also because this morning I have some other work to do. It's really like work. Okay, it's not like I get up late or I become lazy. It's really like, ooh, what happened to this here? It's really because like I do have something to work on, so that's why like I started late today. So that, which is also fine, right? Because like I said, I will be able to see like many familiar faces, not well, new faces today. Because like when you start live streaming in different time, at different time period, then that's how you're able to meet with new friends, right? Yeah. Okay, good to see many new friends. Okay, as usual, we're just gonna do the routine. Okay, as usual, my friend. So the purpose of this live stream, or the major topic of this live stream, 你是最美主播啊，谢谢你啊，谢谢你啊，谢谢你下 L，真好，yeah. So like one of the biggest thing, one of the major topics today, well, actually as usual, is anything about China. Okay, anything about China, just like on this paper fan, as you guys can see on this paper fan. If you guys have any question about China, my foreign friends, or like anyone, like in here today as well, like we must have like many new faces, like new friends. Okay. So if you have any question about China or any other thing interesting you would like to discuss about, like anything about myself, anything, just ask in the comments, okay? And we will usually start from there and to see if people have any questions like about China, about myself, about what's going on in this world, then we can have a like in-depth discussion. Like usually in my live stream, we would have lots of interesting topics to discuss. Usually people will start to raise questions, and then I will then start answering all those questions, and we will start having like lots of like meaningful, very interesting kind of topic discussions. Yeah. Why can't Chinese people work as a team? Okay. You are Chinese yourself, my friend. Judging from your name, you must be a Chinese yourself. Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you saying that? Why can't Chinese people work as a team? I'm pretty sure Chinese people can work as a team. Okay, but I guess like what you're saying. Okay. Okay. So, okay, I start to see lots of questions coming in. So we're gonna start answer one by one. Okay, one by one. So, like, okay, why can Chinese people work as a team? That is actually a very big question. That is a question that I can elaborate a lot on, because that's really, if you can discuss around that, that really has something surrounded surrounding, culture difference. Okay, it's a very interesting kind of stereotype. Well, actually many Chinese people do agree with that. So if you have like one Chinese person attacking or like beating with a Japanese person, like probably this Chinese person would win. However, you have like a group of Chinese people to fight with a group of Japanese people, maybe Japanese people would win. Because the overall speaking, if you look at the Asian culture, overall speaking, I consider like Japanese culture to have like a very strong like bonding kind of thing in it. So like somehow like it's also very interesting. Like many people we would love to watch like Japanese animation, right? How many of you guys really like watch Japanese animation? How many of you guys have watched Japanese animation? So if you guys have watched Japanese animation, then you guys would know that like in the Japanese animation, they stress a lot on like, it's very important to be like your teammates like partner, like you have to bond so so hard, and also like you can sacrifice your life just to protect the life of your like team members, right? Something like that. So like in Japanese culture, because also they are not like here in China we have like 56 ethnicities, they just have like one ethnicity, I think, if not I'm not wrong, because my Japanese friend told me, because they so that's why I like stress a lot on working as a team. That's very important to have like bondings together and like fight for one same goal, something like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so Ace is asking, how can Americans visit China? Just book a flight ticket and just come in here. So I have actually stressed multiple times in my live stream before that since December last year, that China has introduced this new policy allowing 54 countries, citizens from 54 countries to come visit China visa free. Okay, or you can use the transit visa way. So for example, if you are American, if you want to visit China, what you could do is just book a flight ticket and come into mainland China, just from fly directly from your city to, for example, Shanghai, Beijing, etc. Yeah, and at the custom, if you can prove to the Chinese custom that you are going to another country or another place after visiting mainland China, and these countries or these regions also include Hong Kong, even though Hong Kong and also Macau, okay, even though Hong Kong and Macau are also part of China, but they are not part of mainland China. So by doing that, like my American friends, you can actually travel to China without the need to apply for any visa in advance. Okay, so it's pretty easy to come and visit China. Where you graduate? Okay, so like I did my undergrad degree in Shanghai, which is Shanghai Jiao Tong University, which is one of the most famous kind of universities in China. So I graduate from there. I graduate there for my undergrad degree, and later on did a master degree in London School of Economics, which is also a top school, right? And UK. So for my master degree, so that's where I graduated. Yeah. Where are Chinese embassies in the US? Ace, that's for that question, you have to Google it. It shouldn't be hard to find. It shouldn't be hard to find the Chinese embassies out there. And there are plenty of information out there to to find a like information about how to apply for a visa. It's not hard at all. So you don't need to apply for a visa to come in here if you are planning to come here for less than 10 days and want to do the traveling based on your transit visa. However, if you want to spend like for example 30 days even more to China, and you also have the plan to come in here multiple times, you can actually apply for the 10-year visa. Multiple entry visa for 10 years. Yeah, felt the effects of that? No, to be honest, like we don't feel anything yet here. Like I actually have shared multiple times in my live stream before that I said that if you look at like the imports and exports between the two countries, like you would notice that like for example here in China, what we export are lots of the daily goods. However, here what we import are mostly just those kind of like high tech stuff. So for ordinary people, if they don't pursue those high end kind of stuff, then the kind of effect that would have on them would be pretty minimal. It's usually those people who does the import and exports business that will be affected most. Okay, so for example, if there is a Chinese merchant previously, you know, is selling majority of their products to the US, then they would be affected by that because after applying. So that's also happened to Amazon, right? You guys have heard about it, right? Amazon said that, they plan to add a small, numbers beside every price they sell on Amazon to show people like how much the tariff is adding the cost to the cost of the products. And unfortunately, they were not able to do that because they got a friendly reminder, a friendly reminder from the big boss. So yeah, so for anyone who's involved in like selling from China to the US, then they would be the one who got affected, right? And so many people didn't really realize, so many Americans didn't really realize that any sort of those kind of like tax, eventually it will be the final consumers who got have to, they are the one who got to just digest all that, the kind of cost of that, all that. Like many people don't really understand that and really never studied it. Even after they study it, some people just choose to believe in what they want to believe. So if I visit and marry a Chinese woman, do I have to stay in China? My friend, that's a question that almost make me laugh. Okay, so where are you from, my friend? Ramada? I feel like you're just asking question for the sake of asking question. Like, what about like people just ask you this question, like ask, hey, if someone, if I marry a guy from your country, do I have to stay there, stay in your country? This is, to be honest, not a okay, not a good question. Okay, Dylan, yeah, like come up with some good questions, my friend. Yeah, I love to answer many meaningful questions. Okay, yeah. Are you watching Cantaloupe Flight? I'm not so sure what is that. What is that? My, I just came back from China, Guangzhou. That is terrific. That is terrific. Yeah. How do you feel about Guangzhou, my friend? How do you feel about Guangzhou? Visit Australia anytime soon? No plan to visit Australia anytime soon. No plan. Yes, I have visited Australia multiple times before, like two times or three times already. So yeah, no plan till now. So I do like to visit some other foreign countries. Been like went to foreign countries that I have never been to. So like for example, if I really have time to go to some other countries, then I would usually just try to go to countries that I've never been to. For example, let's say, like I said, I would love to explore more of Africa and more of South America. So these would be the countries I love to visit. Yeah, yeah. We already are the end consumers and already have to pay the most for our products. Yeah, you know that, Ninja, right? You know that, Ninja. Yeah, some people don't really understand the logic behind that. Okay, yeah. Dylan, sorry for that question. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry at all. Yeah, but do think about some like other good questions to ask in here. I love to answer all the great questions. Okay, I love to answer all the great questions in here. And guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Yeah, 这么多老外看着就烦。哎呀，不是老外啊，大马真的是中国人。但是现在有很多人来到这边，老外过来一起交流，我本身认为这是一件非常好的事情。It's just that from time to time that I would just encounter some Chinese people who don't really welcome English speaker on this platform on Rednote, and they would say like, "Oh, you know what? It's so annoying to see some faces speaking English." To be honest, I hold a completely different view, right? I consider that fact that we have so many foreigners in here to be a great thing, right? You know, I just believe that people needs to have a very open-minded heart to see everything about this world. Like the more you know about this world, then the more kind of colorful life you can live, right? So I do definitely enjoy a lot, you know, definitely enjoy a lot of having this live stream and able to talk to all the people in the live stream and get to see so many different differences when it comes to culture, and also to see so many different minds sharing opinions on different things and also knowledge, right? You guys know, for those old followers, people know that my live stream, my live streaming room is usually like attracted to people who have a lot of knowledge themselves as well. Yeah. So overall speaking, yeah, this is a pretty high quality kind of live stream room, like a kind of a community. Yeah, I do like the people in here. Yeah. I enjoy listening to you. I'm from the Caribbean. It's good to see you, my friend. The Caribbean. I've never been to Caribbean, but I love to see Caribbean one day. There's so many places in this world that I haven't been to, and I'd love to see all the great places in the world. Yeah. So, guys, tell me, okay, in the comments, if you have time to visit one country in the world, which country would that be? Out traveling, okay? Out traveling. So, if you can out go out and traveling, what be the country that you want to visit? Tell me in the comment, okay? Tell me in the comment, and we can have a world travel, even though we're in the live stream room, okay? Even though we're on live stream, but we can do a round trip to the world. Yeah, let me tell me please, okay, let me know what are the countries if you can visit? Which are the country? What is the country on your bucket list? Okay, what is the country on your bucket list that you want to visit? 你好，我是华人吗？中国人哈，中国朋友。OK，欧阳，你好，欧阳先生。你好，中国人。OK，Yeah。I show my girlfriend your jewelry website and she likes the pieces. Oh, that is great, my friend. You know what? We have opened a TikTok shop, a Red Nose shop, and also our own standalone website. So there are plenty of places for your girlfriend to place the order. So definitely go support me, please. Yeah, want to visit China soon. China. Wow, so many people said China. China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, Vietnam. Yeah. Oh, okay. These are all like Asian countries and Asian regions. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, tell me in the comments. Okay. Tell me in the comments if you can visit one country. Like, for example, like money is not a problem, time is not a problem. Then, what is the country that you want to visit? What is the country that you want to visit? Hi, Princess. Hi, Ilya. Good to see you. Yemen. My grandma was forced out because of her religion. Oh, really? My friend, what happened to Yemen? I'm sorry for what happened there. Norway. Oh, okay. Lovely country. Yeah. Never been to Norway. I love to visit there. I heard that Norway is very good for with their agriculture industry. Yeah, Norway is a big agriculture industry country. I heard. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, guys, can you please tell me in the comments if money is not a problem, if time is not a problem, what is the country that you want to visit? Okay, Aurora. Yeah. Oh my God. Finally see an answer. Aurora. Yeah, Aurora is like a fascinating thing I've never seen in my life. I love to see it. Yeah, Aurora. Yeah, 北极光 beautiful. Like my friends who have been to like places that has like aurora and showed me photos of the aurora, they told me that seeing aurora is a very how to say a very unique exotic kind of experience, and like the aurora absolutely amazing, absolutely stunning. Yeah, you remind me of Lucy Liu. Do we look alike? I don't think I look like Lucy Liu, even though I really like her. I think she's an amazing woman. Yeah, Iceland also have aurora as well. Yeah. China, I love to travel all over the country. Oh. Fantastic and welcome. Yeah. So to be honest, I do want to visit South Pole, North Pole one day. South Pole, North Pole one day。哇，刷到校友了哈，默默，试着努力练歌。你最近歌练的咋样啊？有没有关注我？有没有关注我？可以关注一下我哈。如果没有关注，Yeah, yeah. I don't think I look like Lucy, my friend. but I don't think he's saying that I look like Lucy. I think he's just saying that I remind him of Lucy. Yeah, so which is fine. Yeah, I don't think like I look like Lucy. But Lucy is an amazing woman. To be honest, like Lucy Liu, I think she got famous in Charlie's Angel, right? Charlie's Angel was a very famous movie back then. And she, to be honest, like we have to admit it, right? In the US, like it's hard for, especially 30, 40 years ago, right? For an Asian woman to be able to find a spot in Hollywood movie. So the fact that Michelle Yeoh was able to get Oscar Best Actress award was revolutionary, right? We said like she was the very first female Chinese, a Chinese woman who was able, well, actually a Chinese to get like such a big brand like Best Actress, the very first Chinese woman to get a like Best Actress in Oscar. So well, it's definitely not easy for Lucy Liu to find a spot of herself like become famous in Hollywood, especially it's like so many years ago. It's not like today. Today is a little bit different, right? Today, yeah. So she was also big in Kill Bill as well, right? The way she was able to, you know, use the knife to kill in the snow, right? I remember that scene so hard. Yeah. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, great movie. Yeah, that's also a great movie. I've watched it twice. To be honest, I consider that to be a movie with really deep meaning. It also talk a lot about philosophy. Yeah, she was in Shazam's sequel recently. I've never watched that. Okay, I didn't watch that, but I watched this another very interesting. Is it HBO or it's Netflix? Like the woman who killed, something like that. Yeah, she did an amazing job in there. Yeah, it kind of sucked. It's called a sword. Yeah, sword. Yeah, I know sword. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not a knife, right? Yeah, you guys are right. It's a sword. Yeah. Where are you living currently? I'm living in China, my friend. Yeah, I live in China. Do you have any recommendations for Chinese films? Oh, there are so many good Chinese movies. Yeah, I have actually said multiple times before. There is a really good movie in China that later on was like remade and by Hollywood top stars like Leonardo DiCaprio and also Matt Damon. And that movie that they remade it just asked Leonardo DiCaprio to play it and also Matt Damon to play it, right? And for that movie, somehow they got Oscar, become an Oscar winning movie. However, the original version was actually the Hong Kong movie, and that one, The Departed, exactly. The Departed, the movie was absolutely amazing, one of the best movie ever. And actually they have I think 3 episodes in like Departed 1, The Departed 2, The Departed 3, something like that in Chinese. Yeah. Yeah. How are you so well versed in pop culture? What do you mean by well versed? Yeah, can you use some other words to describe well versed? Because that is the very first time I saw this word well versed. The Departed, the Chinese version, the Hong Kong version of Departed. Let me see what's the Departed version. Let me see. Okay, let me check. 无间道的中文版，英文叫什么？ So when they remade it in Hollywood, the movie was called Departed. So like if you watch The Party, you would notice this is a pretty good movie. However, if you watch it in the Chinese version, it would be even better, like even better. So Leonardo DiCaprio and also Matt Damon are definitely considered to be the top two like movie stars, right? Top two male movie stars. So likewise in China, we also have like two top, very, very top movie stars, like the Chinese version of Leonardo DiCaprio and also Matt Damon, right? One is called Liang Chaowei, and one is called Liu Dehua. These are the definitely the very top level of Chinese movie stars. Okay, so both of them starred in Infernal Affairs. Okay, right, that's a good name. Thank you, my friend, for reminding me that. So the Chinese version of that is called Infernal Affairs. Infernal Affairs is the Chinese name, the original version of the movie, and when they remade it in Hollywood by asking Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon to play in it, they changed the name to be to call it The Departed. So both movies, the Chinese original version and also the English versions, are great, fantastic. But I do strongly recommend you guys to watch the original version because usually when you want to watch a movie, you do want to watch the original version, right? Because original version is usually the better one. So definitely recommend you guys to take a look at it. Oh, the endings are different, right? Okay, I don't really remember. The endings are different. I don't really remember. So but the both are like really good. Yeah, not a lot different. The original one, so I think like usually when they remake a movie, they would just make it different, right? So add some like flavors. For example, there's also like lots of movies that, for example, there was an original version, some other countries was remade it to become a new version. So when other countries remade it, they would add lots of like personal touch to the movie and just make it so much different, right? However, when they remade Infernal Affairs to become The Departed, somehow the movie inside it, majority of it is pretty much the same, almost the same. So they feel like probably I remember back then they did an interview to the crew of The Departed, and they say that it's because they feel like Infernal Affairs is so good. That's why they don't want to just change too much of it. So they basically just copied everything except the ending. It looks like people are telling me that the endings are different. So I also agree with you, Dinlos, that the Hong Kong version is much better. The Hong Kong version is much better. So the Hollywood version, they have the ending in a very Hollywood style kind of ending. So by that, you know, really depends. If you are really into Hollywood style of like movie, maybe you just can watch The Departed, or you guys can just watch both of them, The Departed and Infernal Affairs, and make a comparison of the both. Yeah. So Hong Kong has lots of good movies, as a matter of fact. So Michelle Yang, like Yang Zichong, right? Even though she's Malaysian, but she actually started her career in Hong Kong. Also, she started lots of like Hong Kong movies back then in the 90s, I think, in the 80s and 90s. Because back then was also a peak time for Hong Kong movies. Like lots of great Hong Kong movies was out back then. And Michelle Yeoh starred in many of the movies. Like she's definitely a very amazing actress. Yeah. Why is Japan so much better than China? No, Blake Jackson. Who told you that? No, 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 no. Why would you say like Japan is so much better than China? Like the when you ask like why is Japan so much better than China, you already have this opinion that Japan is so much better than China. Then you would ask this question, why is, right? If you don't agree with the fact that Japan is better than China, then you wouldn't ask this question, why is Japan so much better than China, right? So I'm not so sure it's because that you have been to Japan and China, you come to this conclusion that Japan is better than China, or it's just you heard from someone else who said Japan is much better than China. Like if you ask me, I completely disagree. Okay, 100% disagree. 100% disagree. 100% disagree. Yeah, she was in Tomorrow Never Dies, the James Bond movie. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, why is it? So, Blake Jackson, let me ask you what you know about Japan and China. We can start from there, okay? Tell me what you know about anything you know about Japan and anything you know about China. We can definitely do a comparison between two countries because there's so many different ways you can compare these two countries. So, for sure, I can make a comparison of these two countries. So, like, you have to first give me an angle, okay? So you give me an angle, and I'll give you a very unbiased comparison between the two countries. But because both countries are very rich in culture, there's so many things you can talk about these two countries, right? You can talk about food, you can talk about the culture, about the people, about also the kind of ways like we treat foreigners, and also like um sceneries to see, like culture sites to see. There's so many things we can just compare and see which country is better, which country is not, right? So just give me an angle. Hong Kongers hate Andy Lau these days. Oh really? Why? No, I don't think so. Many people really like him. Yeah, I think really people like him. Japan is cleaner. I agree. Yeah, so in that sense, Japan is better. So nowadays, if you come to China, you will notice that China is also pretty clean. Okay, it's not like in the 80s or 90s, like it's not a very clean city. You see rubbish on the street. Nowadays, if you come to, for example, a city like my city, like Shanghai, you will notice like it's also a pretty clean city. However, if you want to compare with the Japanese level of cleanness, then I would say Japan is cleaner. To be very honest, like it's very rare to see any other country in the world that is more cleaner, that is cleaner than Japan, right? It's pretty rare. Like if you go to majority of the countries in the world, you don't see the kind of like Japan level kind of like cleanness, right? So this is something that as Chinese, I do think we need to learn from Japan. Like they always keep everywhere very clean. And I think like one thing Japanese are very good at is they do have a sense of you know, the sense of like how to say it, like the I don't even know how to say it in Chinese, like the kind of sense like you need to respect people, and also the kind of sense like you need to leave space to people. So that's why like if I go to a public place, I also be mindful, always need to be mindful of that. I also need to create a clean space for others. So that's why like, I don't throw rubbish everywhere. So in that sense, I do consider it is true. However, we could also talk about like many other things that is better in China, right? So, for example, when we first started this live stream, we were talking about the one thing, which is about culture inclusivity. Okay. So, well, I said that in China, we have 56 ethnic groups, right? For those of you who don't know, many people, especially many foreigners, thought China here, we only have one ethnic group. As a matter of fact, which is like we call it Chinese, right? But for my foreign friends, if you don't know, like here in China, we have altogether 56 ethnic groups. So we have different names, and like even for different ethnic groups, they have their own very own like language, their own writing. So they speak very different language and they write very differently. Okay. Yeah, Tibetan is one of the ethnic groups. Okay. One of the ethnic groups. So like for example, in the Western world, you heard a lot about Tibetans, you heard a lot of like Uyghurs, right? Even though mostly in negative ways. However, like these are also part of Chinese. They are just different ethnic groups. Okay. So they're Chinese, my friend. They're Chinese. Why are you saying they're not Chinese? They're Chinese. Yeah, and Blake, you're right. Majority of the Chinese people are Han. So that's why we call them the majority ethnic group. Okay. So for the rest of the 55 ethnic groups here in China, we call them minority groups. Okay, minority ethnic groups. 56, not 46. Yeah, 56, Ilya. Yeah. So they're all Chinese. They're all Chinese. It's just that they are different ethnic groups. Okay. So for example, in China, we also have an ethnic groups that is Korea ethnic groups. Okay. Korean ethnic groups. So they usually just live in northeast part of China, which is very close to Korea, okay? And they speak Korean, they write Korean, they have no problem talking to the Korean people, okay? The Korean people, but they are Chinese. They're just like one ethnicity, inside the 56 ethnic groups here in China, okay? So 老推送他那就是缘分啦，朋友，你有关注我吗？那就停下来好好听一听呗。就是跟你说要跟我开始，我们要有缘分啦，是不是？所以老推送他，对不对？Yeah. So ethnically Chinese. Yes, ethnically Chinese, not politically. Ethnically Chinese. So these are all ethnically Chinese. So in China, we have altogether 56 ethnic groups. Okay. So these are called minority ethnic groups. Okay. I like to know, make sure that minority ethnic groups can be like Jackson. They can be. So for example, Uyghurs are Muslim, right? Most of the Uyghurs are like well, actually not so in some ethnic groups they believe in Muslim, and also you have to know, like here in China, our law protects people, protects those kind of ethnic groups people, and also people with these like religious belief. Okay, so for example, I have shared multiple times in my live stream before that, for example, in every university here in China, it is a must that they must have a Muslim restaurant. They must have a Muslim restaurant, and in some university, those Muslim restaurant is only open to Muslim students. For example, for Han students like me, right? We cannot go into those restaurants because in some universities, they make restaurants specifically for those Muslim students. And sometimes, like I heard about stories that some students, they would, because they have a good relationship with the rest of the students, right? They would even just secretly just take some food from, like, very delicious food from the restaurants to pass on to the entire the rest of the students out there. So yeah, is there any discrimination towards Tibetans? No, not at all, my friend. We don't have any discrimination towards them. It's not what's going on. Okay, that's not okay. So to be honest, like when you talk about discrimination, it's not against like different ethnicities. It's usually like different regions of the people, they have the kind of pride. For example, I'm from Shanghai. So I'm from Shanghai. In Shanghai, you might have ethnicity people from Han ethnicity. You also have Shanghainese with other ethnicities, okay? So the concept of people from different regions of China and the ethnicities, they are two different concepts, okay, my friend? You kind of understand. Okay, let's make good comparison. Okay, for example, like when we talk about the ethnic groups, okay, so for example, in the USA, you have black people, you have Indian people, you have white people, right? You also have also what yeah, Asian people, right? Yellow skinned people, right? So you have different people. These are different ethnicities, right? However, like they can live in different places in the US, right? For example, in Texas, you can see white, you can see black. In California, you can see black and you see white, right? You can see a black Californian person. You could also see a black Texas person, right? So very similar concept. In China, we have altogether 56 ethnicities. Okay, just think about those ethnicities as like black, white, Indian, Asian, kind of same concept, okay? Similar concept, not same, okay? However, these 55 ethnicities can live in different places in China, in different provinces in China. It's just that, for example, some ethnicities might gather in certain area of China. For example, that's why we say, okay, in Tibet, you will see more Tibetans. Okay, Tibetan is one of the ethnicities. We call it 藏族人, 对吧? And most of them would live in Tibet. Okay, however, it doesn't mean that you only see Tibetan in Tibet. You probably would see like Tibetan peoples in other areas of China as well. Okay, so that's why like people in different provinces is one concept, and people with different ethnicities are another concept. Okay, so usually we don't have discrimination against different ethnicities here in China. Okay, so no matter you are like which ethnicities in which like the 56 different ethnic groups, like we don't have discrimination against that. And to be honest, even though we have 56 ethnicities, but majority of the Chinese people just look very similar to each other, except for example, Uyghurs look like more like Europeans. However, if you look at like Korea ethnicities, if you look at like Tibetan ethnicities, to be honest, as well, right? And also like Han ethnicities, right? And also Bai ethnicities, Manchu ethnicities, majority of people just look very same. So you don't seem to have this kind of discrimination against others, right? However, we do have kind of what we call, I usually don't just call it discrimination. It's just like some pride. Do they all look differently in the 56 ethnicities? No. When you look at the face, majority of the ethnicity look very similar, Andrew. So, for example, I'm Han ethnicity, and my husband is Man ethnicity. So we are different ethnicity, but we all look like very same as like Chinese people. So yeah, you're also right. We also have a Kazakhstan-ness as well in here. 哈萨克族是吗? Yeah, so we do have all of that as well. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So we have lots of ethnicities. Back to the topic, right? I said that we have lots of ethnicities here in China. So that's why like the Chinese culture itself is very inclusive. Very inclusive when you have like different types of people coming in. And also, if you look at the 5,000 years of history in China, you would also notice one thing. So, to be honest, China was invaded by many other foreigners from time to time in our history. And there are a period of time that China was invaded by some other foreigners, and then somehow they established their dynasty. And eventually, what happened is that these what once considered to be foreigners become part of Chinese and become one of the ethnicity in China. So that's the magic of China. We're able to always include different kind of like culture and become like just one culture, right? It's like a true melting pot. It's a melting pot that just melts in all sorts of different cultures, no matter who you are. Like, so that's why like the country of China never disappear in the history, no matter who invaded here. It's just that eventually what we did is that we just melt in the culture of the foreigners, invaders, and make them become part of Chinese. And that is something that very magical, something very, very interesting. With this Man ethnicity situated in China, majority of them situated in northeast part of China. Yeah, northeast part of China. Because Manchu people, so Qing dynasty was ruled by Manchu people, okay? Qing dynasty was ruled by Manchu people, and it's said that, Manchu people was originated from northeast part of China. So that's why, like, if you go to northeast part of China nowadays, 如果现在去东北那边的话, if you go to northeast part of China nowadays, you will notice that in many of the restaurants, like they have the kind of very interesting style, and where inside the restaurant they would actually write many of the Manchu words on the wall and tell you, okay, you know what, this is actually Manchu, but this is nowadays like Chinese. And also lots of the local northeastern Chinese dialects, they are just pronunciation of Manchu language. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Guangxi province has Miaozu, exactly. The northeast China seems to look more similar to Koreans. Yeah, so northeast part of China, you would have Manchu, you would also have Korea ethnicities as well. So that's why like there are lots of Korean people, Chinese Korean people, right? And many of them would actually just work in Korea. So they would just go to Korea, come back to Korea, like a lot. Yeah. High cheekbones. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, if you look at those kind of different Chinese people in different areas of China, you will notice like the look is slightly different. For example, some of the areas and people, for example, in Kanto area people, their face shape is very different. Their face shape is different from mine. A very typical look of the Cantonese people, the face shape is not like long, like oval, right? Their face is relatively shorter, and their chin is like sharper, like goes down below like this, like very different. Yeah, and the Mongolian people has like very high cheekbone, right? So like very different. Last emperor was from Manchu. Yeah. So because Qing dynasty was the last dynasty, so that's why like the last emperor was the last emperor of Qing dynasty, and the entire dynasty of Qing is Manchu, ruled by Manchu. Yeah. Do Chinese ethnicities with less similar features experience discrimination more, even rare? To be honest, we don't have a lot of discrimination against like Chinese ethnicity. It's not like the US kind of culture in there. So here in China, like when it comes to Chinese people, well, I would say like it's the discrimination is never against like certain ethnicities. It's never against the certain ethnicities. it's usually around like provinces, cities, right? For example, I have to be very honest with you. I have to be very honest with you. Like, for example, I'm from Shanghai. I do think there are many Chinese people who would look down upon like people from other provinces. It's because they have like such a strong pride. And many of the Chinese people, to be very honest, I also consider them to be how to say, not open-minded enough. Like some people haven't really seen the world, so they have this like very strong personal pride, consider themselves to be extra superior compared to others. So that's why they would not so open to people from other provinces in mainland China. And same likewise, also like if I go to Hong Kong, there are also like Hong Kong people who do that. And to be honest, it's usually people who haven't really seen the world who would have those kind of mindset. For those of people who have been to the world, seen the world, or people who are like just deep down in their heart, they're very modest. They would not have this kind of discrimination. Because like I myself, I don't think like people should just discriminate one person based on where he or she is from, right? Or just based on the skin color. I definitely think that is not the right thing to do, because I have seen so many amazing people. Like many people who has been in the live stream for long know that I've been to so many different countries. I have friends all over the world, and I have seen this world. To be honest, I do consider myself as someone who have seen this world, right? Have seen so many amazing people and really talk to them and face to face, like talk to them and get to know them. Like I know like so many people out there who are amazing, and they're just of different skin color, and they are of different like family backgrounds. They just come from different cities and different countries in the world. It's never about where they're from. It's never about what skin color they are from. It's all about the brain, right? It's all about the mind, right? So, and also if you ask me, the older I become, the more I see, also I start to realize one thing, that there is just no absolute yes and no, or right or wrong, right? For example, when I was little, lots of people, like my parents, said that, oh, okay, you know what, these are not right to do, that are not right to do, right? For example, it's not good to play video games. You know what? You should just spend all your time studying. Don't ever spend your time, waste your time on video games, right? And also, like when I come to buying stuff, right? Okay, you should just spend more money buying books. Just don't buy any those kind of you know play kind of things, right? Toys, right? Don't play buy toys. If you have money, buy books. Don't and buy spend money on studying. Don't spend any time and money on toys or something like that, right? So I have always thought so, until that when I start to grow up, the older I become, when I really grow up and really have seen the world, I noticed that, to be honest, like, even for people who play video games, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't indulge yourself in that. You just cannot control yourself playing too long in that, right? Because inside video games, there are also a lot to learn. And also playing toys is also fine, right? Because have you guys seen like Pop Mart? Pop Mart. Pop Mart is like the most hottest thing ever here in China, and also hottest in the US out there as well, right? But the reason you so to be honest, like for me, I don't really understand like why Pop Mart can be so popular. I don't really understand like why people would like those kind of things so much, right? It's because when I was little, I was educated that buying those kind of toys is waste of money. It's not good. And that is just a new economy, right? You have to understand the society more, understand like why people like to play with Pop Mart, why people wants to buy Pop Mart. But like the condition that how you are able to understand the business model of Pop Mart is that you have to really buy it. You need to experience it, and you need to understand right. So just felt like nothing is right or wrong. It's just a matter of experience of life. Yeah. Pop Mart, yeah. Have you heard of Pop Mart? Pop Mart is just so popular nowadays. To be honest, like Pop Mart is played most by adults, actually not kids. So the fact, well, also Jellycat. Do you guys know about Jellycat? So Jellycat is basically dolls, right? It's just basically very ordinary dolls, right? And like they are able to just sell a doll at like 200, 300, and even 500 US dollars. And pretty sure the cost is really low. So the reason why they're able to just brand all those kind of things like Pop Mart and also like um Jellycat is such a very expensive price and sell it to people. And even though people know that the cost of that is like very cheap, people just want to buy it. The reason behind all that, beanie babies, like beanie babies. Uh, what do you mean by mini babies? Yeah, but like but Jellycat, like the every toys of Jellycat does have like a very small like beanie baby eyes babies like that. Yeah, the reason behind why people like to buy all those kind of things is just because those kind of toys provide lots of emotional value to people, right? They provide lots of emotional value to people, and we have also discussed about Maslow necessity theory, right? So when people are starving, still cold, like everyone just focus on the very bottom, the Maslow pyramid, right? Focus on the need of feeding yourself, right? Make yourself not hungry. So as long as like your like basic needs are met, then you start to pursue some higher needs, right? So nowadays, like especially in developed countries, well, even though China is still considered to be a developing country, however, we have reached a status that everyone is rich enough to buy like many things, right? So after that, everyone is just trying to pursue some like higher end kind of stuff. Like people start to have the need to buying things that could make them happy, like things that can provide emotional kind of value to them and also help them to find their personal identity, right? Everyone just wants to find their personal identity and define who they are, like something that can define who they are, and also something that can, yeah, Maslow hierarchy of needs, exactly, yeah, you know that, right? So like everyone will start to find things that can define who they are and find something that can express help them express themselves, right? So these somehow just become very popular nowadays. Yeah. I like to know how you think and things you're saying. I like how you think and things you're saying. I'm in the US, but considering teaching in ESL China. Oh, that's good, my friend. Have you applied for any jobs in here? China isn't a developing country. The leaders said they've been there 5,000 years before us. We're a country with over 5,000 years of history. When you have so many years of history, this country is just so different. Yeah. The country is very different. There are so many things we can learn from the history. Over 5,000 years of history. When you have so many years of history, this country is just so different. Yeah. The country is very different. There are so many things we can learn from the history. So if you look at the Jellycat stores, they're still very, very popular. Hi, Jose from Argentina. Welcome to the live stream. Are you new in here? Yeah, and guys, follow me please if you haven't done so, okay? Follow me please if you haven't done so. Yeah. Let's see, what are the other things we can discuss about? What are the building caught on fire and people burned? Yeah, let me see. What's the other comments in here? Christy, hi Christy. I'm a Black American in Asia. I'm so intrigued by the Asian culture. Good to know that. Where in Asia are you at, Chrissy? Where in Asia are you at, my friend? Are you in China? Have you been to China? To be honest, even though you're talking about Asian culture, you say you're very intrigued by the Asian culture, right? However, inside the Asian culture, there's just so many different Asian cultures. You like the Korean culture that is different from Japanese culture, also different from Chinese culture. And even if you're looking at Chinese culture, inside the Chinese culture, there are just different things inside Chinese culture. Right? I said we have like 56 ethnic groups. So each ethnic group has their very own unique culture, right? So, for example, some people ask me, like, hey, can you tell me a bit more about Tibetan? You know what? Inside Tibetan ethnic groups, in some villages in Tibetan, they allow like one wife to have multiple husbands, you know? So it's also like very interesting. The other day, I saw a content creators did an interview of a Tibetan family of a young girl. So she is married to a family of three brothers. So she has three husbands, and the three husbands are all brothers. And we say, like, okay, so when you have babies, how do you know the baby is which husband's baby, right? It is hard to see when you are a wife and you have three husbands, right? They say, and she said that, so the interviewer asked her about this question, like, when you are married to three husbands, how do you know your kid is which husband's? And she said, like, okay, the thing is that we don't need to know about the kid is which husband because all my husbands, they are just brothers, right? So basically what I can do is three of them are just their fathers, right? So my kids just call the three husbands, all dads, so that's good. And also the interviewer was like also asked another tricky question. Like he asked, like, okay, so maybe out of the three husbands, is there your favorite husband or is there a husband you like least? And she hesitated a moment. She hesitated a moment and she said, I like them equally good. I just like them all pretty well, like, you know, something like that. And also, like, we say, okay, so how do you decide which husband you should sleep with at night, right? And they say, like, they actually also make schedules, right? For example, Monday is the bigger brother, the elder brother, and Tuesday is the second brother, the third is Wednesday is the third brother, something like that. So they do take turns, right? It's usually like 2 days is this brother, husband number one, and 2 days husband number two, and 2 days is husband number three. Yeah, that's a very interesting interview. Yeah, so like even though like inside China we have different kind of traditions, cultures, right? Like I said, in Tibetan they have the kind of thing like that. However, like in my city in Shanghai, there's no way we can have that, right? I'll be put in jail if I have three husbands and no husband would want to marry me if I said that, hey, are you okay that I have three husbands? And also for I myself, I would not be okay to get married to a family of three brothers and have the three brothers all be my husband, right? So it's very, very interesting. So it's very interesting. So like if you look at China itself, we have like so many different cultures, not to mention if you look if you look at the entire Asia, right? The Asian cultures can be so diverse, so differently as well, so different, right? As well, right? However, after having said that, I do consider Asian cultures overall speaking, there are something that is like that is something we shared in common. Still, there's something that all different Asian cultures just share in common. That's that's another example of how Chinese government favors minorities. Yeah, my friend. Yeah, by allowing women to have three brothers, three husbands, right? Needs to climb the wall to the window, right? You know what? In some areas in China, also, in Yunnan province, there is one ethnic group in Yunnan province, my friend. So there is also one ethnic group in Yunnan province. What they did is that they so majority of the world, in majority of the world, is very pretty much just men centric, right? So when you get married to someone, you basically just marry into the man's home, right? In majority of the world, okay. So well, of course nowadays, like you have some countries become so very liberal, right? For young couples, when they get married, they go out and find their own apartment. However, if you look at traditionally, like majority of the countries, they have like a very male centric of history, right? It's usually the woman marry into the man's home, right? And become then the homeowner of the man's home, right? It's usually like in China, we call it women is always like 加入, like get into the man's home, right? It was always like that. And majority of the kind of culture in the world is always like that. However, in Yunnan province of China, there is a ethnic group. It's like the women are the centric, women centric. We call it the 母系社会. Like women are, it's like women centric. So woman still lives at her home. So the husband will then come to the woman's house to sleep, stay overnight, and then they start to make babies. And then when the baby is born, so the baby stay with the mom. So this baby don't go to the father home. So the father and the mom, they don't live together. And usually, like the baby, after the baby was born, the baby still stay with the mom inside the mom's home. And it's uncle's duty to help raise the kids. So it's more like men are the subordinate of the family rather than men are the owner or the master of the family. Yeah. So majority of the world, to be honest, is a still pretty much like a man-centric kind of world, right? And like in some part of China, in Yunnan province, there is one ethnic group that what they have is like very woman centric. And what they do is that everything is around women and men are just like subordinate around women. So if this woman wants to have babies, okay, then man goes to her home to sleep with her and help her have a baby. And once the baby is born, okay, then the uncle, which is the woman's brothers, will help to take care of the baby. So everything is around the child's last name is Mothers as well. Yeah, child's last name is Mothers. Yeah, child's last name is Mothers. So everything is surrounding like women. Women is like the master of the family, like men are just like the subordinate of the very women centric of the family. Yeah, so that is like how diversified China is. Like in Yunnan province, like they have those kind of ethnicity culture like that, right? So yeah, it was also very shocked, right? Even that's also part of the culture here in China. I was very, very, very shocked to see that when I visit Yunnan. I remember staying at one of the hotel there, and the owner of the hotel like really treated us well, and we had a very nice chat with them. Like me and my parents, we sat down, and because they treated us their local tea, right? They said, "This is our local tea. Have a taste of it." And we had a chat with her, like so with them. So it was very natural. My dad would start to ask, "Hey, are you married? Do you have kids? How old are your kids?" Something like that. And then they started to share about their culture, and I was so shocked to know that they're living in a very women-centric like native tribes are similar to that. Yeah, yeah. So I know, for example, in some of the African tribes, right, the native tribes are very like that, right? So they are also living the kind of like the tribe culture, the female tribe culture nowadays. However, everything else is very modern, right? Everything else is very modern. They live in very modern apartment, and they also like everything is very modernized. It's not like they are like living in a tribe, even though they have this kind of like a like female centric kind of tribe culture. Yeah, to be honest, I think that is pretty advanced. That is pretty advanced. Yeah. Yes, they eat the dog in Hunan province at festival and they laugh and dance. I have no idea about that, my friend. I don't know about that. To be honest, here in Shanghai, I don't see anyone eating dog meat or cat meat. It's pretty rare in my life that I have never seen like people eat cat meat. I do see people eat dog meat, and still like eating dog meat is definitely not a main trend. Okay, it's not a mainstream thing. Okay, majority of people here in China, we don't eat dog meat. Okay, we don't eat dog meat. Yeah, yeah, and not to mention about cat meat, not to mention about cat meat. It's not a main thing. It's not a main thing. Yeah. Well, so we have like a very diversified food talking about that. Okay. So we do cook food of all sorts, all kinds. Okay. When it comes to fish. And also, for example, one of the things many foreigners don't eat is you guys don't eat innards, right? We don't eat animal organs, but we here in China, we eat animal organs. I really enjoy that. And also, for example, you guys don't eat chicken feet. Here in China, we eat chicken feet, and chicken feet is delicious, my friend. I think chicken feet is very delicious. I like eating that as well. Yeah, so lots of interesting things in here in China. So that's why I feel like not much meat on cat, not worth it. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. What is matriarchal culture? What is that? Oh, okay. You're talking about okay. Matri matriarchal culture. Oh, okay. So that's the English word of saying that. Like the women centric, right? It's called is my pronunciation right? It's matriarchal societies. Is that right? Is that the right pronunciation, my friend? Yeah, in China we call it 母系社会. So that must be the official English name of it. Yeah, but just tell me what's the sound of it like. Yeah. Let me see what the other interesting comments. The only country you can compare to China is India because of their populations. Uh, Well, populations, yes, but I feel like Indian is very different country. I've never been to India, but I have seen lots of Indian movies. I really enjoy Indian movies, right? I feel like India, but just tell me what's the sound of it like. Yeah. Let me see what the other great potential. Yeah, too rich in religion. Yeah, I noticed like in every Indian movie, I see a very strong element of that, right? So I'm pretty sure that this is what's going on there in India. Yeah. Indian is great at software engineering, but they suck at advanced hardware. Oh yeah, Indian people are very good at math. I think they are very good at math, and also they're very good at software engineering. They say that if you want to learn how to code, right, coding, and the best courses online are actually like Indian courses, like Indian people teaching how to coding. That is the best course ever. Like lots of people say that. Like even Chinese people, many people just go to watch those Indian teachers teaching people how to code, right? Yeah. Say it like this. Matter matriarch. Matriarch. Let me see the spelling of it. Matriarch. Matriarch. Matriarchal. Is it right? Matriarchal. Matriarchal city. Yeah, but thanks for teaching me how to say it. 母系社会 matriarchal city. Yeah. What? You know what? But for the rest, no Douyin without the plus 86 number. What are you talking about? Let me see. I seem to have missed. How do you get access to TikTok? How do we get access to Douyin? So Alyssa, well, I think, well, if you Douyin, you have to have a Chinese mobile phone number to get access to the Chinese version of TikTok Douyin. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So many people are teaching me. It's matriarch. Oh, thank you, my friend. It's called matriarch. Okay, matriarch. Thank you. Now I get it. It is called matriarch. Okay, so the matriarchal, right? Matriarch and matriarchal, right? Okay, great. Thank you. Matriarch. Okay, thank you. Now learn a new word, right? So when we talk about the society that is like we're very female oriented, that is called matriarch. Matriarchal society. Yeah. Great. Thanks. Yeah, it means women dominated. Okay, thank you, my friend, for teaching me that. Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, exactly. China doesn't want foreigners influencing Chinese public on Douyin. That is correct. That is right, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So many people are teaching me of that. Oh, okay. Patriarchal is the opposite. Okay. Now, yeah. So now now I can re-elaborate it with using those official words, right? So majority of the world, I'm pretty sure like majority of the world is still living in a patriarchal society where everything is surrounding men, right? Or in according to the stereotype, women should be the one taking care of the babies, right? Should be staying at home doing all the chores, while the men, well, on the other hand, men should be outside, hunting for prayers and go back home and feed the families. And also something like the man can have multiple wives according to the history of many kind of culture, right? And just that in some part of China, it's matriarchal kind of society that woman is the queen of the family, the men are the subordinates of the woman, something like that. Okay, yeah. Zuki, be nice. 你是说中文，你就说能不能说点中文？不要这么说中文，这个太凶了，好不好？太凶了。可以说中文，你可以说会说中文吗？能说点中文吗？啊，我们客气一点，好不好？这个感觉好说中文有点凶，好吗？Yeah, someone asked me to say Chinese, but I say like, hey, can you be polite? You can say like, please say Chinese. Can you say some Chinese? This is considered to be more polite. I can definitely then share something in Chinese, okay? Yeah, but when you say like, hey, say Chinese, speak Chinese, that is just not considered to be very polite, okay? Yeah. Yeah, guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so, okay? Yeah. 可以说中文呢，可以说点中文，但是呢，其实因为直播间里边有非常多的外国友人，有来自于五湖四海、全世界各个地方的外国友人，那英文必须要承认也是这个世界上最通用的一个语言，因此只有说了英文才能够更好的让来自全世界不同的人在这个直播间里边更好的进行文化相关的沟通。当然，如果你的英文没有那么好，你也可以在评论区里就是用中文发言啊。如果有好的提问，有好的内容交流，我也可以帮你翻译过来。给到大家 OK yeah it's okay with me even I don't understand everything respect you earn nothing give what why does China not want people from the rest of the world interacting with China to be honest you know what my friend well to be honest that is also kind of true but I mean like Mary Kong right. If you haven't really downloaded the app called Red Note, just go download it. That is the only app that foreigners are really welcomed to stay on this platform and interact with the Chinese netizens. It's called the Red Note. Red Note. Red REDNOTE. Okay. So there are plenty of people on Red Note. I'm currently doing live streaming on Red Note as well. And in my live stream on Red Note, there are lots of Chinese people. At the same time, we have so many people from other countries as well. We have people from the US, from South America, from Africa, from Middle East, from other countries in Asia as well, like everywhere, literally everywhere on Reno. So, well, on that platform, that is the platform that like foreigners from every country are very welcomed, and like that is a platform that do encourage people to interact with Chinese netizens. So, can definitely go there and follow me there as well. Okay, follow me there as well. Yeah, yeah. My explore tab is dominated by female fitness influencers. That's because you enjoy watching this content. So the kind of algorithm behind Red Note is that once it detects that you really like those contents created by female fitness influencers, they just keep on pushing those kind of contents to you. So to be honest, I don't think like the algorithm of Red Note is smart enough compared to the algorithm of TikTok, because it, once you start to search for something, they just push the very similar contents to you all over and all over until you start to search for something else. Like for example, once you search for something, maybe the very next 10 posts that push to you are just the very same contents. Like for me, like I would prefer to have more diversified contents, like from, for example, some contents to be like this, some contents to be like that. Yeah, so that's something that RedNote can improve on. However, overall speaking, I consider RedNote to be an amazing app. I really like RedNote. I use RedNote more than any other social media app. I myself, yeah. So every day I spend majority of time on RedNote. You like if you look at the proportion, if you look at the time I spend on different social media platform, so every day majority of the time spent on is actually RedNote. Yeah, and also since I become a RedNote host myself on RedNote, right? Also, I just can't help myself from opening RedNote from time to time to see if I have new followers in here. So that's why, like, guys, follow me, please. Okay, definitely need more followers, and also you guys can join my followers group here. Okay, on Randall here I have listed out this followers group. You can definitely click in here and join my followers group. Okay, yeah. Hi, Alex Dali. I might know that, like, that streamer. Which streamer? Yeah, which streamer? Yeah, guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Okay, I'm not complaining. You enjoy seeing all those like female influencers, fitness female influencers, right? Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. What is your favorite dish from China? Ah, yeah. Chris Dudu. Chris Dudu, the thing is that, to be honest, if you ask me to recommend Chinese food, my hometown dish is kind of the dish that I don't recommend you to try. Because out of all the different cuisines in China, to be honest, I like my hometown cuisine least. But if you ask me like one dish to recommend, then I would recommend shenzhenbao, which is a small bun, pan fried bun, a small pan fried bun called shenzhenbao that is quite delicious to try. In Shanghai, there is a very famous like pan fried bun brand called Xiaoyang Shenzhen. Literally everywhere on the street you see it. It's a little pan fried bun. And it's pretty tasty. Yeah, pretty tasty. Yeah, she's pretty impressive. Who? You're so cute. How do you learn English so well, Momo? Have you followed me? You're so cute too by saying I'm so cute. Yeah. OK，小笼包，生煎包我更喜欢生煎包，小笼包也不错了，更喜欢生煎包，因为它那个底是脆的。Because the bottom of the pan fried little bun is like very crispy. So personally, I like pan fried bun better compared to the steamed bun. Yeah. So, oh, morning from the airport, Bali. Oh, I'm so jealous, my friend. I wish I'm in Bali now. I'm pretty sure nowadays there are lots of tourists in Bali Island nowadays because it's public holiday here in China, right? Yeah. Do you know a streamer on here that dances in fancy dresses? My friend, there are plenty of streamers here on Red Note dances in fancy dresses. So I'm pretty sure I won't be able to know which one until you show me. It's almost like a trend. Like many people dress up. Like there are people even asking me to dress up in traditional like Chinese hanfu, like the very traditional Chinese clothes, and do the live streaming. To be honest, I feel like that's a bit too much, so I didn't do that. But I consider that to be a very good suggestion. Yeah, so that's not something rare to see. Like lots of people in here in China, they dress up in a very traditional Chinese way, like dress up like very beautifully and then start to dancing or workout. Like people just are very creative on different platforms. They think about different ways to just attract people's attention, right? Visually by dressing themselves up, right? Yeah. A lot of foreigners love to eat dumplings, but are you guys very good at using chopsticks? Yeah. Are you guys very good at using chopsticks? I'm liking people know God respect you differently. Small sweet sounds too. She like mapo tofu with mao tai. Oh my goodness! Wow, mapo tofu, mapo tofu with mao tai. That sounds pretty hardcore. But mapo tofu is pretty good. Mapo tofu is pretty good. I like it. I like it too, especially when you mix mapo tofu with rice, right? Stir mapo tofu with rice. Ah, it's very tasty. Very tasty. Yeah. We use both hands. Oh, okay. Wait, how can you use chopsticks with both hands? Like, how do you use chopsticks with both hands? Right, when you eat, like, you use chopsticks, right? But how do you use it with both hands? When you eat, like, you eat like this, you eat like this. That's how you use both hands, right? Yeah. So chopsticks are not easy to learn. I still remember when I was little, when I learned how to use chopsticks, right? It was like pretty hard. So for all the babies in here, we started learning how to use spoon first. After we started to use spoons and like little by little, like parents would give us like chopsticks. And chopsticks, like when we use it was like small chopsticks, right? Not like kind of big chopstick we use now. It was like small chopsticks. And also like we have this kind of tradition when you hold chopstick, they're saying that don't hold it too far away from the pointy end. Just try to hold in the kind of upper middle. If you hold it too far away from this pointy end, means that in the future you're going to be away from your home, and that is not good for the parents, because parents here in China want their children to stay close to them, right? They want the families to be together, so that's why they want their children, they don't want their children to travel far in the future. So that's why, like, when holding chopsticks, they always say like, hey, don't hold it too far, hold it in here, something like that. That is also very interesting Chinese tradition. Ah, Nitrous, did you have a chance to record anything from your labor weekend? If so, please post it on your. Wait, I didn't record anything, as a matter of fact. Because to be honest, for this Labor Day, I spent majority of the time just rest, because I've been working so hard, too hard, over the past several months. So, well, I spent literally the very first day just sleeping the entire day. I wake up and I didn't do a live on the very first day, right? If you guys remember. And then, like after breakfast, rest for a while, and I started sleep at around the 10, and then slept for around 1.5 hours to 11:30. Woke up, had lunch and rest a bit, and then start sleeping again at around 1:30 p.m. or 2 p.m. around, and then slept all the way till 3:30 p.m. and woke up again, and then somehow relax a bit in dinner time and clean the room, and then just went to sleep very early in the afternoon, in the evening. Yeah, so resting, definitely lots of resting. And I do feel that the body recovered a lot after taking lots of rest. So well, on on the very second day I did go out because the weather was really nice, lots of sunny weather. So I went out, did lots of hiking, but I didn't record anything because it's a very chill kind of walking. Yeah. But you guys, if you guys enjoy seeing more of my about my daily lives, I can make definitely make a lot of posts of that. Yeah. Yeah. Which is easier for you, chopsticks or knife or fork and spoon? To be honest, spoon is easiest. Spoon is easiest, followed by chopsticks, and then followed by knife and fork. Knife and fork, because knife and fork is more like for Western food, right? And also knife fork, you have to use both hand. And for example, using chopsticks, like you can just use chopsticks, right? Oh, right. That also comes to one thing. For example, when I was in Europe, I noticed that people don't get addicted on social media. Don't get addicted to social media. For example, here in China, you would notice there are people like when they eat, they would be looking at their phone, right? When people walking on the street, there are people looking at the phone. So it was almost like make me feel a little bit strange when I was in Europe around 2 years ago, right? Around 2 years ago, when I was in Europe and I walk on the street, I noticed no one was actually holding a phone. Because in China, you will notice that everyone is holding a phone. You go to a restaurant, I'm pretty sure you will notice there are someone sitting, eating, and at the same time looking at phone. On our metro as well, on a bus as well, and people walking on the street while walking, they're also looking at the phone, right? A lot. And like I start to think about one thing, like the reason why we're able to eating while looking at a phone is because we only need to use one hand to eat. We only need to use one hand with the chopsticks, right? So with the other hand, we can just watch the phone and we can still eat, right? But if you're using a knife and fork, then you cannot do that because both of your hands are occupied with eating. You cannot just use one hand to watch phone because both of your hands are occupied with easy eating, and that is so busy, right? That is so busy. But here in China, we can do both, right? We can look at a phone and use chopsticks to eat, like just one hand, right? I guess that might be the reason why behind why, you know, in the West, not many people are looking at the phone. Yeah. She in USA, I track his phone. Fun. What are you talking about? Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be back to 7:30 to 9:30. Yes, tomorrow we'll be back to 7:30 and 9:30. I think so. Yeah. Because this morning I have something I need to finish. There is some work I need to finish because I need to pass on to others to finish on. So if I can finish it first and then start the live, then the next person can work on during the morning time while I start the live streaming. So that's why did a bit of schedule change. Yeah. If you were on a phone at a restaurant in Europe, that would be a taboo and also cringe-worthy. Oh, really? Why? Why? Someone told me if you were on a phone at a restaurant in Europe, that would be a taboo. I don't think so. Like I've been to Europe, many countries in Europe, right? I feel like it's okay to be in a restaurant and be on the phone, right? Still eating. Should be okay. No, I've never been to Romania, my friend, but I love to visit there. I love to visit there. It's Romania is also Romania is very famous. Has you guys have a very famous gymnasium athlete, a lady, a gymnasium athlete, like who's always been Olympic Games, even though she's like really old, using like the gymnasium standard, right? The reason why she still participate in Olympic game is because she needs to earn money to gymnast gymnast gymnast. Okay, that's called gymnast, right? So like the reason why, oh, gymnastics, right, my friend. Yeah, gymnastics. Yeah, so there's a gymnastic athlete, female, very famous like gymnastic female athlete. I forgot her name, but she's like so famous. Like every Chinese people know about her because every Olympic she was just there. Not so sure like last year, last Olympic if she was there, but she was like always there because she need to earn money to help her kid. So she, I think, remember her son got a very exotic disease, and Nadia, right? Her name is called Nadia, right? Nadia Comanche. Yeah, she's an amazing woman. She's definitely an amazing woman. Yeah. Wait, you Romanian people don't know about her? So King Mercy, are you from Romania? But you Romanian people don't know about her? Like she's treated like a hero queen here. Like in China, like many Chinese people know about her and like we respect her a lot, a lot. Yeah. She must be very devoted. That's why. Didn't you know? Now didn't know, now I know, I guess. Yeah. Everyone knew her in Romania. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone must know her. She's definitely a person that worth lots of respect from people. Yeah. People here in China, we respect her a lot, a lot. Yeah. I remember Nadia, right? There's a Chinese friend here said that she remember Nadia. Yeah, she remember Nadia, right? Yeah. She's definitely a queen. Definitely someone who's worth lots of respect. Yeah. Because Nadia was champion over 30 years ago. Oh, really? She also has won lots of championship. Yeah. So like even though when she was like really like relatively like really old, so she was still able to got a bronze medal, I remember, in one of the Olympic Games back then. The US gymnastics team had a Chinese coach. So gymnastics seem to be a very huge thing in the US. Like lots of the kids are really keen to be in gymnastics. However, here in China, gymnastics are not so popular because like gymnastics is considered to be a kind of sports that you need to be like really hardworking in order to win in gymnastics. So the perception of gymnastics in between China and the US are pretty different. I feel like in the US, gymnastic is considered to be kind of the sports that is pretty fun. However, here in China, like gymnastic is considered to be the kind of sports that's only practiced by like people from like very poor families. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty big, especially for girls. Yeah, I saw like so many content creators just post videos, right? Sharing of their daily lives, right? And also like the fact their daughters just went to gymnastic classes after school, something like that. And I realized it's a very big thing. Yeah. no wonder that you have so many gymnastic like athletes, like one for gymnastic athletes, right? Every Olympic, because Russia was not allowed to attend Olympic last Olympic. It was always the Russian and also followed by like Americans who were able to win, and also followed by Chinese, right? Well, but like Chinese female gymnastics are not so good, but the Chinese male gymnastics are pretty good. Yeah. There was a sex scandal. Yeah, I've heard about that. What's the girl? What's the girl? The black girl who wait, what's her name? Like she's a like a wonder in gymnastic USA just gymnastic world. What's a girl? The black girl who also won the Olympic medal during the last Olympic Games. What's her name? Simone Biles. Yeah. Simone Biles. Yeah. Yeah, Biles. Yeah, Biles. Yeah. She also said that she got some like sex scandal. Like she got like insulted or like she did something, she was done something bad, right? I'm not so sure if I can say this word. Yeah. We also have Simona Halep at tennis, who beat Serena Williams. Yeah, Serena Williams, the Williams sisters are like very famous. Biles is also very famous in here. Good to see you again, Nytrix. Good to see you, Michael. Yeah. Yeah. So she she looks like she jumps 20 feet in the air. Yeah, she's so good at jumping. Yeah. It was a doctor that was committing the crimes. Yeah. I heard about it. Yeah. Yeah. The team doctor assaulted the girls and the coaches helped cover it up. Too bad. Yeah. Too bad. It's good that Bowles was able to become famous and reveal all that, right? Imagine if Bowles was not able to be that famous, then the kind of scandal might be just covered without having it revealed, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely an incredible athlete. There are lots of like very famous and incredible athlete here in China as well. And also like I'm not so sure. Like I feel like in the Western world, I've seen so many athletes, they just play and play and play, and the other day they got a gold medal. So there are not many like full-time athletes. However, here in China, we seem to see lots of full-time athletes. If you're talking about those like Olympic medal winners, all of them are basically just full-time athletes. I've never seen any like not full-time athletes here in China who are able to get them like a world medal. But in the Western world, we've seen like I do see like there are like part-time kind of athletes, and even though they are part-time, that they just win a world medal. Yeah. There are a lot of certain things that go under the radar which aren't right. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, so the fact that Chinese are very good at sport. Well, to be honest, like I think like um having a good sport like winning lots of medal is a good thing. Usually you would also notice one thing: the stronger a country is, the more like medal it will be able to win in the Olympic game, right? Because like when you're talking about that, is also manifestation of how strong the country is. If a country is strong, that means that it can have enough money to be put on the development of a sports, right? Then also the result of that is to start to have like more athletes who are able to win a lot of 有链接，Cralily 有链接啊。那个你看一下我的主页，主页上面我有加一个，就是Alchemia，我把我的这个商品的那个放过去了，找一下有链接。Cralily，如果 Cralily 你要找不到的话，你可以私信我一下，我帮你找出来给你哈。在我的主页上面的这个，在我的 bio 里，在我的简介里面我放了另外一个账号了一个账号，你点一下那个账号，里边有各种各样的品，有各种各样的这个视频，都可以去买。这个是我自己开的店铺，OK，自己开的店铺可以去看一下，OK。There are people asking about the earrings. The earrings, like every time I have live streaming, whenever I wear this pair of earrings, there are just people asking about it. Yeah, everyone thinks this is beautiful. Okay, I think this is beautiful as well, right? Yeah, China is supreme in platform diving. Platform diving is one thing that we're super good at, and also what else? Platform diving, and also what else? Platform diving is something we're good at, and also ping pong is something we're good at, and badminton is something we're good at. It's also very beautiful. It's also very interesting that you look at Olympic Games, you would notice a difference of um different type of people. For example, black people are super good at running, right? When it comes to running, it's always the black people. And also, like there are also some sports that white people are very, very good at. Figure skating, yeah. Badminton, yeah. Asian people, overall speaking, are better at track and field. Yes, black people are super, super good at track and field. The reason behind black people are so good at track and field is because of the structure of the muscle, right? For example, if you look at the structure, muscle structure, so the muscle of like black people, the kind of muscle is pretty long, so that's why they're able to run faster than others. So remember, in 2008, we had an athlete here in China who was finally able to win a gold medal in 110-meter like running, and that's well, then he's become like a hero here in China because like it's extremely hard, extremely rare for Chinese people to win gold medal in like track and field, especially short distance, because our muscle structure is just not as strong as black people. So that's why like it's pretty rare to see like Asian people who are able to win a gold medal when it comes to short distance running, right? However, like Chinese people are super good at what we say those kind of like technique, those kind of sports that requires lots of techniques, right? When you talk about diving, right? Diving, right? And also platform diving, right? And also talking about ping pong. So these requires you to have like small muscle. Like you have to have a very good ability to control your body, right? So the Chinese people, who are speaking, are good at those kinds of sports, right? The runners look like they only have shins. What are you? Attention to details. Yeah. So I feel like different human beings are created for different purposes, right? So like different human beings are good at. And what's so interesting, the other day there's our content creators that said that okay, first of all, disclaimer, it's just by another content creator. It's just for sharing, okay? Just for sharing, okay? Nothing racism, nothing discrimination, okay? So the content creators, of course, he's a Chinese, right? He's saying that he thinks Chinese people, the Asian people, is considered to be the superior race. And the reason behind like Chinese people or Asian people considered to be superior race is because that we have less hair. So like according to Darwin theory, like human beings are actually we evolved from chimpanzee, right? The chimpanzee has so many hairs, and when the more advanced you become, then the less hair you have, right? Nowadays we have less hair, and you look at all the different types of people, like Asian people have less hair, so that's why we're the most superior type of people, because we have less hair. It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny of that. Yeah. I also remember there's a talk show host. What's the name? The lady with this a very interesting glasses, the glasses lady. 你在中国吗？我在中国吗？你怎么说英文的？我在中国，我在中国，在中国说英文。对，因为直播间里面有非常多的来自于五湖四海、全球各地的人。No, not Sally. I remember it's Elaine, something Elena or something like that. Like this is a Chinese lady, right? So she used to have this talk show and said that, you know what? Chinese men are just like dolphin, like because their skin is so so smooth. There's no hair on that at all. Wait, I don't. Well, I think I remember it's Huang. Like her surname is definitely Huang. I think it's Eileen Huang something. Like she's becoming quite famous nowadays as well in the U.S. Like she wears glasses. Not Sally. I don't think it's Sally Jessie. Like a Chinese. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So she made a joke about like Chinese men have no hair at all. Yeah, Ali Wong. Yeah, Ali. Yeah, Ali. Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, Ali Wong. Yes, Ali Wong. Yeah. She's quite famous in the U.S., right? Yeah. So I do enjoy her talk show as well. Like she always talk about the dirtiest talk show ever. Yeah, this stand up specialist pregnant. Yeah. She's like also like quite she's quite funny. Yeah, she something talked about like something like I remember like one of the famous like talk show was something like, you know what? Asian men are just like dolphin, like they have no hair at all. And something like she also talked about like, well, my husband think I am a private garden, but I am a public park where everyone can just come in, something like that. So funny. 人家做英文直播有啥问题？感谢主播，很难找到英文好的、清晰的直播间，我需要经常听一下啊！谢谢默默你的支持哈，谢谢你的默默支持。Yeah, you guys get it, right? You guys get it immediately when she talked about this private garden. Yeah, me too. I laughed my ass off as well when I heard when she said, and she also had like very exaggerated kind of facial expression when she talked about that. When my husband thought I am a private garden, but I'm actually a public park. Like any people can just get into my park. Something like that is so funny. Yeah, she's definitely funny. Yeah. Thank you, Momo, for sending 人气票. Yeah, it's cool. You get it right. You get it. Yeah, you guys can definitely check it. Like back then, she was pregnant when she was talking about it. Yeah, it's so funny. So like to be honest, of all the different stand-up comedian, I really like Russell Peters. Like Russell Peters is amazing. I like him as well. Like he was able to make lots of funny jokes about like culture differences, right? The Asian culture versus the Western culture. Lots of the thing. Yeah. Does the visa policy exist for those European countries for weeks? Really depend, my friend. Guapshador. So depends on which country you're from. So some countries in the Europe has like 30-day visa free. You can actually go to my homepage and check it. Okay, just go to my homepage. I made a video. You have to scroll down. This video was made a bit of time ago. So just scroll down. You'll be able to see a video that I made that talks about the visa policy. Inside the video, I actually had a screenshot of all the countries that's eligible for the 30-day visa. Yeah, for the 30-day visa free visit. Just go there and see it. Yeah, he does so many accents. He's able to do so many accents. And of course, the funniest is when he does like Indian accents, right? When he speaks Indian accent, like what he does is like so Indian, right? And also he does something like shaking of the hands while talking about Indian accents, right? And also one of the most the funniest thing is when he's copying his dad, right? When he was talking about the story, like when he was little, he was beaten by his pet dad. And by the way, it's an Asian culture that like our parents do beat us. Like I got beaten when I was little by my mom and my dad. Right? It's just an Asian culture. So Indian, like parents also beat their children. So he also said something like he was beaten by his parents when he was little, and his dad, whenever wanted to beat him, his dad is gonna always say like somebody's gonna hurt real bad. And he was like, you know what? My dad never said like you are gonna hurt real bad. He always said somebody's gonna hurt real bad. It gave you the sort of hope that might not be you because he said someone, but you know that it must be you. So funny. He also did something like a Korean kind of Korean type of accent. Like he said, like it seems like many Korean people opened the dry cleaning store in the US, right? Dry cleaning store in the US. And he said, like, whenever you go to a Korean dry cleaning store in the US and Canada, well, back then he was like, yeah. So like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 排吧, 식사, something like that. That's how Korean people count 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so somehow the Korean people cannot tell the difference between P and F. So 4 is poor, 5 is paiba, something like that. Shiksa is a Jewish girl. Yeah, you watch that too, Andrew, right? You also watch that, right? It's a pretty funny kind of talk show. I really like it. Somebody's gonna hurt real bad. Yeah. Yeah, it can mean maybe or I'm not sure, is my understanding. Can China visa go Tibet or Xinjiang? You can, on the condition you have to apply specifically. So you have to apply specifically and tell that you're going to Tibet and Xinjiang. So I remember there is some specific requirement if you want to go there. It's not the usual type of tourism visa. There's a special kind of visa you have to apply in advance if you plan to go to Tibet and Xinjiang. So with that kind of visa, yes, you can go to Tibet and Xinjiang. There are foreigners who've been to Tibet and Xinjiang with visa. So you have to really study hard on how to apply for this specific kind of visa. Okay. Why? For obvious reason. For obvious reason. There are just so many propagandas out there in the West. Well, like we have to be careful why people come in here to visit, whether people are in here really for tourism, want to see this world, or there are just people here trying to do something on purpose to spread some propaganda or some words. So that's why. Yeah. Hmm. And your profile, you resemble my daughter. Really? Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah，听得懂，看得懂，打错了，啥呀？打错啥？博主听得懂中文吗？啊，看得懂中文吗？啊，看懂中文啊，就是中国人嘛，必须看得懂中文。中文比英文讲得好啊。说句实话，如果我的直播是用中文来去讲的话，准确来讲，我应该能讲得更好。就有很多的东西，如果能用母语来去交流的话，我应该能够讲得更有条理，因为脑子里面不需要再过一遍英文了嘛。虽然我英文讲总体上还是讲得很好的，但是你要说真的讲到像母语那种程度的话，肯定还是中文更好一些。Yes, we roll our eyes every time the West talk about it. That is good. That is good. You look so young, fresh, and green, like a full meal with everything and dessert. Come on, like, that sounds so creepy, my friend. Oh my god, that sounds so creepy. Yeah. 你叫什么名字? That is a pretty interesting way of saying it. Yeah. Your profile photo looks like a John Wick movie. It's from a John Wick movie. It's an AI made photo. It's an AI made photo. Yeah, it's not a photo of myself. 100%. Do you have talent in English? I consider myself to be talented in English. Back then, when I studied English, somehow I was able to study it very fast. Compared to the peers, I was able to pick up English faster and also was able to pronounce everything, more accurately than others. Yeah, I do consider myself to have a talent. For some people, they just tend to pick up a language faster than others. Like it was like an inborn ability. It was an inborn ability. Yeah. I was relating to the person who said you look like her daughter. Okay, even though you said you were relating, but the kind of comment you made feels a little bit creepy. Okay, yeah. 说的啥听不懂啊？没事儿，多听听就听懂了哈。小时候学过英文吗？这个叫什么来着？侧鱼生一堆。小时候学英文吗？应该学过英文吧？学了一阵子以后，应该就能够，就是多少听到后面能听懂了。有很多人都说听着听着就听懂了。什么鬼东西？你说什么鬼东西啊？如果你是在骂我什么鬼东西的话，我就要骂回去了哈。如果你说的是其他鬼东西的话，那就 OK 了。Yeah, yeah, it's okay. I got you. That's good. It's way easier for me to read Chinese than to speak or understand spoken Chinese. Wow, really? Christian, really? What? You're the very first person that I've seen foreigners that told me that it's like easier for you to read Chinese and speak. You know what? Because like I consider reading Chinese is more like way tougher than speak. Because like I know many foreigners who are able to speak some Chinese and like understand some Chinese, but there's no way for them to like write Chinese and read Chinese. Because basic Chinese are just like reading and writing Chinese are basically just like my goodness, drawing, right? And it's so different from the Western way of like you guys use lots of alphabet ABCD, right, to combine different like letters together of different words and sentences. Like here in China, like we have to remember, like recite the writing of every word, and every word is basically like drawing. It's like definitely hard. You must be amazing. I mean, like you must have a talent in like when it comes to understand the kind of things on paper, right? Some people just are talented when it comes to reading, so you must be very talented in reading. That's why you say it's like way easier for you to read Chinese than to speak or understand spoken Chinese. Yes, I like reading on Weibo, but the tones are too hard. I can memorize the characters easier. You must be very talented in learning a new language when it comes to reading. So some people do have those kinds of talent when it comes to reading, but hard to like listen and speak. But some people they are like easier to listen and speak. They just don't have this ability to read. They have this kind of what do we call 读写障碍症, right? Some people have some problems of reading. Yeah. So you must be talented. So part of your brain must be like very, very developed, like more developed than others. Yeah. 基础太差的总归得学一点，确实，基础太差的还是先去学一点再过来吧，不然啥都听不懂，听再久也听不懂，先去背点单词再过来吧。我们是相对于高阶一点的啊，高阶一点的直播间。I've heard learning to read and write in Chinese is extremely difficult. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. I think like reading and writing in Chinese is pretty difficult. For Chinese language, you need to activate both brain hemisphere at the same time. Yeah, you have to activate your brain hemisphere, the hemisphere about language, the hemisphere about drawing, the hemisphere about everything, and then you start to learn Chinese language. That is pretty interesting. Yeah. I guess that the sophistication of the Chinese language really stimulates the brain, huh? Also in Cantonese, writing is the same. It's just the pronunciation is different for Cantonese. Cantonese, if you're not okay with the tone of Mandarin, then not to mention about Cantonese, because Mandarin has only four tones, but Cantonese has seven tones, so it's way, way, way harder to learn Cantonese. I cannot speak much Russian. I can only speak very little, tiny bit of Russian, which is how to say it? My God, when I want to say Russian, like every word that come to my mind is just German. Oh, Entschuldigung is the word that comes to my mind. I think that is a German word, right? That is a German word. What's the Russian word? Something Slavidania, something like that. Something like that. What else? What else? What else in Russian? How to say like very good in Russian? How to say very good in Russian? I messaged you a picture of my daughter. Oh, okay. Okay, I love to see the picture of your daughter and see really she really looks like me. How to say very good in Russian? And Entschuldigung is in German. Yeah, yeah. Somehow like I want to remind myself the word in any word in Halashur. Yeah, Halashur, right? Halashur is very good. Halashur. Okay, Halashur. Yeah. Thank you, King Mercy, for reminding me that. Okay, don't type me anything like in Russian. I don't read that at all. Okay, I don't read that at all. Halashur. Yeah, Halashur. Yeah, nothing else. Like I think Russian is pretty hard to learn because like they have lots of this kind of the kind of song you have to pronounce using your twisting of your tongue, which is pretty hard. Which is pretty hard. Yeah. Cannot do that. Cannot do that. Same with Spanish, right? You guys are amazing when you can pronounce those kind of songs. Like I cannot do that. Yeah. I had to how to level up my spoken English. You say spoken English. That's an English you have to speak, right? Spoken English, you just practice. Maybe you can do like what I do, like Larry, just start a live stream and talk to people, just practice your English. I've seen like many content creators out there, even though they don't speak very fluent English, their English is not so good, but they like I respect them a lot. They still start a like a live stream and still try very hard to talk to people coming to the live stream and just try very hard to talk to them in English. And that's also a very great, good way of practice English. Even though they don't have lots of viewers coming to the live stream, still they tried really hard just to keep it going. So I feel like the purpose of they start the live stream is not to have like more followers. It's more around practice their English. So for that, I do respect it. You know, it requires lots of courage to start a live stream and talk to an audience, right? Especially in a language that you're not so familiar with, you're not so good at, right? But after a while, like after you practice a lot, you start to develop this ability, the skill set to talk good in English, like better English, right? You said it's spoken English, so you need to speak it in order to speak it better, right? Yeah. Okay. They want to learn which is most important, and they search research words in English, so they will learn. Yeah. I can speak English. What's the second language? Spanish and little Dutch. We'll learn Chinese. Ooh, that's good. I mean, you are so multilingual. Yeah. I think you're doing a good job at English and Chinese. I think so too, my friend. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, so for those of you who haven't followed me, definitely follow me. And also for people on Reno, just so you know, there is a small group in here that you can join. That is my followers club. Okay, that is my followers club. For those of you who haven't joined my followers club, definitely go follow my join my followers club. Okay, so first of all, follow me please if you haven't done so, and second, join my followers club. Okay, yeah. And also, if you think this is a beautiful necklace, earring, sorry, if you think there's a beautiful earring, like lots of people think this is a beautiful earring, just so you know, this is open for shopping. So on my bio, you guys will notice I have actually at another account. Yeah, I have actually mentioned another account. So that account is my very own store. Inside the store, I have listed lots of beautiful accessories that I wear during my live stream. If you think this is a beautiful, this is beautiful. So you guys can actually go there and take a look, shop around it as a support. Okay, no matter if you're a girl or boy, man, woman, right? You can buy it for, if you're a woman, you can buy it for yourself, right? These are beautiful earrings. If you're not a woman, Mother Days is coming, or you would also have, these can also be considered to be a good gift for your wife, for your girlfriend, for your daughter, for your mom, right? Usually our products also come with a beautiful box as a decoration. So definitely consider to be a very good gift as well. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's see what else. Mhm. To say goodbye, we say whelp. We whelp in my part of my country. What is that? Never heard of it. Heard of it? Yeah. Mhm. Okay, so one more minute to go and we're off today. Okay, one more minute to go. Let's see if any other last question that I can answer. And when it's 11, then we're gonna finish today. Okay, yeah, enjoy the rest of my holiday. Yeah, tap tap like the host and get her numbers up. Thank you, my friend. Okay, you guys learn the rules, right? You guys learn the rules. Yeah, without reminding you guys will help me do that. Like start to tap the screen to send in likes and start to follow me and then start to send the tickets, something like that. Thank you so much, my friend, for doing that. Yeah, thank you so much, my friend, for doing that. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Yeah, you guys amazing. Yeah, your chat room is very busy. Yes, you guys are very busy. Like that. Okay, Sullivan. Yeah, guys, another great morning with all of you. Yeah, so thanks so much for coming today. Thanks so much for coming today. So tomorrow we'll back to normal. Okay, so tomorrow we'll return to 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time. Okay, return to the normal time of live stream, and then you guys can come see me again tomorrow. Okay. Thanks again, my friend, for coming to the live stream today. And again, another big thank you for all of you. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye.